Hello and welcome to this module on YouTube. What's really funny is I originally didn't really create anything about YouTube when I first put together the business portion of this training on social media, just because I don't really consider YouTube social media, and you'll hear why that is later in this video. I kind of think of YouTube as separate from Instagram and Facebook because of the way people find content on YouTube, which we're going to deep dive into in this video. And because I didn't make anything initially for the training, I ended up talking about YouTube a bunch on live calls with students throughout the years. And one of my favorite conversations is the one that I actually share and kind of edited down and turned into the module you're going to see today, because people asked really great questions. And there's so much detail and things to know with YouTube, but in this live call with some past YTTers, they really just got right down to the heart of what it's all about, sort of the most important things to know in this live session, way better than it could have ever worked out if I had planned a whole spiel. So this is going to be a little different. I am going to screen share. I am going to kind of take you behind the scenes on YouTube and my channel and some other big YouTubers in the yoga space channel. We're going to check out their content as well. But it's in this very casual live chat. And I want you to write down any questions you have as you go so I can answer them in our live call together. And if you're wondering about this really crazy, funny photo that you're seeing on the screen, I included this photo as part of this module because here I'm sitting with a YouTuber named Shannon Rose, who has over 1 million subscribers on her main channel. And as if that's not enough, she runs 2 or 3 other kind of spin-off YouTube channels, each with around 300,000 subscribers. So no one knows YouTube better than this woman, and I had the huge honor and privilege of getting to collaborate with her when she was pregnant. We did some videos promoting each other's channels. I taught her some prenatal yoga, and on her channel I got on and vlogged and talked with her a lot about natural childbirth, and it was just a really cool collab. But the coolest part was just getting to meet someone who has really gone the distance. And I think it's important that we frame for ourselves, well, what is big on YouTube, right? Is that 1,000 subscribers? When I was 30,000 subscribers, I thought that was kind of amazing. And then there's 100,000, right? YouTube sends you a plaque when that happens, and that's kind of a big milestone. And then you meet someone like Shannon who has 1 million. And I mean, it just kind of shows you how the sky's the limit when it comes to YouTube. So that's the fun photo that's included here. She's holding her little adorable pregnant belly, and we're in her home, which is also a film studio. You can see with the cameras behind us where she films all of her content and videos. So enjoy this very casual live Q&A, and we'll talk on the other side.
I mean, the keys to success on YouTube, consistency, right? Everyone asks me a lot, like, what's the key to YouTube? And it's really about consistency, a consistent posting schedule. It's about good SEO. People get really caught up in like SEO and what does it mean? But really it means naming your class like yoga for flexibility, as opposed to like 40-minute flow for, like you can tell very clearly, even with my own yoga classes, I was naming things very early on, like, oh my gosh, what was I naming things? Like 45-minute vinyasa flow or something. Or I was naming it, so I'm trying to think of a good example. Pyramid pose rotation with evolution into revolved half moon or something like that. No one's searching for that, right? People are searching for yoga for flexibility. And I can share my screen with you and show you how you can do very quick, easy, free SEO research. It's like so simple, it's stupid, but it's worth going over. We'll just give it a second. And if people have specific, yeah, here we go. Yoga with Adrienne, yoga for beginners, yoga music, yoga challenges, yoga for kids, yoga for weight loss. So here it's like the auto population is telling you the search terms that are looked for the most. Right here, we have it. Yoga for beginners is a great search term, but it's very, it has a lot of competition, right? So it comes up first, meaning that tons and tons and tons of people are searching for it. But if you put out a video called Yoga for Beginners, it's probably not going to be on the first page of YouTube or even the third or fourth or fifth page. It's going to be, you know, quite low because there's a lot of competition for this keyword. So there's what is called like more of a long tail keyword. Long tail means it's more specific. So more specific meaning less search query, but more competition, but less competition. So Yoga for Beginners, weight loss women is much more specific. So maybe I'm just going to make up numbers. Let's say 800,000 people a month are looking for this. Maybe, you know, 80 or even 8,000 a month are looking for something like this. So less reach overall, but less competition with other videos, basically. And I am not on this page. See, it's funny. I often go to like terms that I'm interested in and see if I rank. So example, if we go yoga for back pain, I'm number 3. And then I'm also down here. I don't know what this is, like 6, 7, and 8. Interesting. And see, let's rest. That's what I wanted to call this class. I wanted to call it Let's Rest. But because I've done YouTube for many years now, I didn't title it Let's Rest. I put Let's Rest on the little thumbnail that I made, but I called it Restorative Yoga for Lower Back Pain, Relaxing Yin Yoga with Bolster. And this was all through keyword research, right? Is that helpful? A little bit? So, you know, YouTube's really different from like Facebook or Instagram because YouTube is owned by Google. So it's very search driven. The other way that people, we can share the screen again, sorry. The other way that people find YouTube videos, does anyone want to guess? Or know from personal experience? So let's say we go into this class and I'll try to stop it from playing so it doesn't take up bandwidth. But what's the other way that people find videos on YouTube? Has no one ever gotten like curation? From this sidebar, from the recommended videos, right? The recommended videos that show up on the side. So my friend Sarah Beth shows up on the side of a lot of my videos. I show up on the side of a lot of her videos, right? Look, restorative yoga with a bolster. So I named mine Relaxing Yin Yoga with Bolster. Again, I have someone who works with me now and helps me do all this, but I'm guessing that they saw this class and they were like, oh, maybe we can get some synergy between Brett's video and Sarah Beth's video if we name it with a bolster. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing. Because I'm guessing that if I click into her video, I'll show up as recommended, just like she's showing up recommended for me. Yeah. So this in the recommended area is a really great place for discovery. So you kind of have 2 options for discovery on YouTube. Someone typing it into the search bar, right? Or you can get recommended off someone else's video. So if we go into Sarah Beth's, just because she's right here, morning yoga. Okay, so it's recommending Leslie Fight Master's video. And it's recommending more of Sarah Beth's own morning routines. And I think it's recommending Boho Beautiful, another fun channel. So you can kind of see how the recommended bar, you can kind of target videos that you would like to be recommended from or for. And here's me, Blissful Morning Awakening, right? So the algorithm's quite smart in YouTube, and they're like, oh, this is a morning yoga routine. Someone's watching that. Let's suggest other morning yoga routines, maybe by, you know, different people who we see have crossover audience. So the algorithm's doing that, but you can also design a little bit to do that. Other basics of YouTube, right? We want this text to reflect the title text, right? So this is very important keywords, these first 2-3 lines in the YouTube description bar. So what's difficult for me and a lot of other YouTubers is you want to use this space for juicy SEO rich keywords, right? That support your title or the keyword that you're ranking for. But you also want to do what? What did I talk about a lot in the video content? What else do you want to just generally do in social media overall? Are we just posting on social media for the sake of posting on social media? Yeah, Jennifer Carter says a link to a website, either for emails or just to, you know, get people into your world, really to try to get their email, see if they're interested in staying connected with you so that you can email them when you have retreats and events and classes and special workshops that you're holding. So Sarah Beth, she's a very good marketer. I don't know exactly where this link goes, but you know, you're trying to balance having some SEO rich keyword with trying to get people to do something. So get the 5-minute quick abs. I'm going to guess that she's going to ask for an email, but let's see, maybe not. Yeah. Look at that. She is, right? She's asking for, and I've actually helped and talked to her a lot about her strategy. We share a lot of tips because she has her own membership site that she launched after my membership site. So we talk a lot about like best practices and kind of try to help each other out. So, because the thing is, most people don't see how we expanded the description. Most people don't expand the description. So it's kind of like you just have these first couple lines as the most important ones. So, and I think you'll see that if we look at some of my videos, I do something similar. Like if we look at this one, Blissful Morning Awakening, let's see what I do. So this one, I don't have a link above the fold, would call this above the fold, right? I just go totally for SEO. And remember, you can have links in other places, right? Like the cards. I don't actually want this video to play. Don't play. Cards are like these little, it's going to slide out in a minute. I don't know, maybe you've tapped on a card that I've had at some point. What else do? I ask people to subscribe. That was very challenging for me for a really long time. But you want to ask people to subscribe if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, if that's important to you. What does FBO or SEO stand for? Oh, sorry, SEO, sorry. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. Thank you for asking that. Sorry, I jumped ahead and I assumed people would know what that meant or be curious about it. And Kelsey says you're going to hit 200K soon. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, I try not to focus too much on numbers. But again, it's like the numbers for my growth are steady because I post and upload so consistently. So really, I think with any social media platform, sorry, let's draw it back to like the overarching theme of the call. It's really about consistency. It's really about consistency. And YouTube's very different than the other social media platforms. Because as I said, it's very like, you don't go to Instagram and search, right? You don't go to Facebook and search. You're not like typing a specific search term that you're looking for information on, right? It's more like you're discovering, kind of like you'd browse through a magazine and then you're seeing things from people that you've curated, like a curated list of people you followed. That's very different. Like YouTube is totally search driven. And then of course people find teachers they like on YouTube, or they find certain musicians they like or whatever, and they subscribe, which is sort of like the follow, and then they tend to see more of that person. But on the whole, it's search driven as opposed to more like social. Does that make sense to people? Yeah. Okay, so let's bring this back to like you guys and your specific questions. Was that helpful in terms of YouTube, Kelsey, or what else do people want to know about anything? And I think this is talked about in all the video content, but try not to get overwhelmed. Like you don't need to be on every social media platform or any social media at all to be successful, right? There's a million different ways you can choose to grow your business and your following as a yoga teacher. I interviewed someone on Savannah a week or two ago, and she doesn't have a website. What was she? She's a shaman. She's a shaman and a coach, and she doesn't have a website, and she doesn't engage on social media at all. And she says that her whole business grows by word of mouth. People have to email her, and that she channels all her energy into helping her clients have breakthrough sessions, and that's where she wants to focus all of her energy, not on social media. Trader Joe's is another great example of a company that just chooses not to do social media. They're just like, we're just not going to. And their business is doing great. So, you know, you need to figure out what fits best for you. Jennifer, do you need to pay extra for YouTube videos or marketing them like you do on Facebook? Ooh, good question. So I don't pay ever to boost or promote YouTube videos. I probably should, but I just don't. I think using Google Ads is very complicated. I've hired someone to do it for me in the past, but I never really liked it. It's not how I want to grow my business. And I never found a huge payoff from it. There's probably definitely a strategy there, but again, it sort of depends where you want to focus your energy. For me, if it was like focusing on creating another really good video or like running ads to a video, again, I have experimented with Google Ads, but not to the extent that I'm like, oh, I want to make this part of something I'm doing every day. Facebook ads I'm playing with now in my business. And, you know, there's the boost post feature on Facebook. Most people who are in the Facebook advertising world would tell you don't hit boost post because it's sort of like you don't know that much about who you're targeting. A real Facebook ads person would want you to really be running an ad like that. You could create it from a post, but you don't just generically hit boost post. You'd really segment, because Facebook is like a slot machine, basically, where you just put money in the machine. And with Boost Post, it's sort of like, what's the slot machine where it's just chance, right? And it's like the 3 icons might match. It's very random, according to Facebook ad consultants I've talked to. You want to set up like a real Facebook ad campaign and strategy and say, I want to target women between this age and this age, and I want them to be similar to the women who are on my email list, and I want them to live in America, and I want them to, you know, have a certain income and, or, you know, have liked my page or not liked my page or whatever. And Boost Post is very generic. That being said, I've had yoga teachers who've told me they've like filled international retreats by just doing Boost Post. So, I mean, there's no like right answer. Kelsey, I'm curious how it works. How do people get paid on YouTube? At what point are you doing decent? Or do you get paid that much? YouTube, I also love learning about Facebook and Instagram. It's all interesting to you. Cool. Yeah, guys, ask any questions. Like, you've gone through yoga teacher training with me. I am an open book. Like, I want to answer any questions you have. Making a living on YouTube is hard. Hard in the sense that the ad revenue accumulates very, very slowly. So Stephanie says you need 10K views to get the monetization open. Yeah, they've kept changing rules about that. I think at some point it was like you needed 5,000 subscribers and then monetization was open, and now maybe it's views. I don't know. But even so, that income is very, very small. So, I mean, I'm talking, I think when I had 30,000 subscribers, it was like $100, a couple $100. Like, you know, you're not quitting your day job anytime soon. And that's with 30,000 subscribers. I think at maybe 100,000 subscribers, maybe you're making $1,000 a month. 200,000 subscribers, where I'm going to now, I think I'll break 2K a month. So, I mean, that's good, but I mean, that's a lot of work for that income, right? And then I think it starts to really accumulate and get, you know, if you have 1 million subscribers a month, I think then you're making like, you know, maybe $6,000 a month on YouTube or something. But most people who are big YouTubers are monetizing their audience in other ways, right? through products, or, you know, paid content, or who knows? I mean, there's so many different niches on YouTube, a lot of info products. So was that helpful to just give like a gauge? Like just having 10 or 30,000 YouTube subscribers, I don't think, again, I don't know where everyone lives in the world, but it's probably not going to pay your rent. So Kelsey says, is it more just a platform for other opportunities? Yeah, that's kind of how I look at YouTube. There's so much to consider with YouTube, says Stephanie. Yeah, this is something I struggle with on a daily basis, you guys, daily basis, right? It's like, do I want to put all the, you know, all my energy into getting the YouTube channel really big? Do I want to put more of my energy into making the subscription yoga product that I love and that I run really big? How much content should be free? How much content should be paid? What's the difference between the free and paid content? You know, all of that is that's the kind of stuff that I won't say like keeps me up at night, because it's like a fun, interesting problem. But, you know, that's the reality of what someone who like me or Sarah Beth or whoever is thinking about a lot on a daily basis. And Jen Hall says, answering comments is important for YouTube too. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Jen Hall. A couple more things on YouTube just before we move on and talk about waivers and insurance. It's the YouTube kind of rates your video or figures out how it's going to rank it. So remember, we talked about those search terms. So in the first 24 to 48 hours of when your video releases. So YouTube's algorithm, just a fancy word for how your video is going to show up in YouTube search, right? It's judging your video on its performance in the first 24 to 48 hours. And I've been hearing more and more, it's really within the first 24 hours. So you want to drive as much traffic to your video in the first 24 hours as possible, right? Because how it performs in the first 24 hours is really how YouTube's going to judge it forever. So when I'm working with a brand, for example, or doing any kind of co-promotion with someone else, I try to time it. So like they promote it to their audience and I promote it to my audience, and we've all posted on social media the first like hour that the video's out, to try to get as much views and as much traction in the first day as possible, because then it sort of snowballs. And then Jen was talking about the comments. It's again, likes are signals to the algorithm that this video is good. So you'll see in a lot of videos, I ask people to like the video. I ask people to leave comments sometimes. Comments are also a sign of engagement. So the likes and the comments, those are all also signals to the YouTube algorithm that like, hey, this video is worth, like if I'm going to decide when we type yoga for back pain, whether to show this video or that video, it takes into account a lot of things. And one of the things is, how many views did it get in the first 24 hours? How many likes does it have? How many comments does it have? And then the other really big one is channel authority, right? Is it coming from a channel that's like a big channel? I guess we could call mine big at this point. I don't know, like 200,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers. Or is it coming from like a tiny channel that doesn't have any subscribers, right? So that's going to be weighted as a factor. And then the biggest factor is watch time, right? When people click into the video, do they keep watching or do they click away, right? So another thing I do with most of my YouTube content, which is hard, is I try to get into the class very quickly. I don't talk for like 20 minutes, right? I try to start because I don't want people to click away. And most people are, in the current world we live in, society, they want to go, right? They want to click on a video and they want the routine to start. They don't want to listen to someone chat. And that's very hard for me as a teacher, because a lot of times I'd love to explain, you know, a lot more, kind of do a demo of some stuff before the video starts, take a lot more time, which I do in person. But on YouTube, I try to really get into the class content quickly because I don't want them to click away. Clicking away is like the YouTube algorithm does not like. So they're looking for watch time. How long does someone watch the video? Do they watch the whole video? Or do they, you know, kind of click out early on, which YouTube takes as a sign that the video was not what the viewer was looking for. So titling your videos appropriately is also very good. very good thing to do. And that was something that I thought was really interesting that one of my old YouTube agencies taught me, or was talking to me a lot about, is that, you know, if the routine is named easy yoga for beginners and the first move is something very complicated, like all those beginners are going to click away because they're going to feel intimidated, right? So if you call it easy yoga for beginners, it really needs to be easy yoga for beginners, right? So your title needs to be true to what you're serving up. Okay. And Jennifer Carter says, think they just changed the algorithm for what counts as views or how often you come up on people's homepage and stuff like that. Yes. So Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of these are always changing the algorithm, always. Always changing. It's always changing. So my approach is that in a situation like that, there are three options. Option one is that you can freak out constantly because everything's always changing and like run around with a chicken like your head cut off and try to keep up. That's not the option I choose. That's option one. Option two is that you can just post consistent, high quality content and kind of ignore the fact that the algorithm's changing. You know, like educate yourself best you can, but don't go nuts over it. Because again, it's always changing. And number three is that you can hire a professional whose entire job in life it is to know about these things, to kind of take over this problem for you, or to let you know, if you really need to be doing something differently. So I kind of do a combination of 2 and 3, because you could just get really overwhelmed. If I tried to keep up with all the changes happening with Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, like all the time, I wouldn't do what really is important, which is my personal practice, my spiritual practice, my meditation, and creating courses and content that I really believe in. And, running trainings like this, like there'd just be no time for any of that. So I just encourage you to not get overwhelmed. Again, I've always adhered to the philosophy that high quality content's always going to rise to the top. So if your teaching is good, and if your content is high quality, even if you're not doing like every single tiny perfect thing, because I wasn't at the beginning, I've learned everything as I've gone. It's not like I was some YouTube expert when I started out. So it'll be longer and it'll be slower, but that's the belief system I choose to adhere to, and it's been true for me, right? Consistent high quality content always rises to the top. So all right, Kelsey, and then let's switch to, I'm just giving an eye on the time. We'll switch to talking about studios and insurance and waivers in just a second. So Kelsey says, how far in advance do you plan your YouTube videos? I feel like you're working a year in advance. And does this help you not get behind in uploading new videos? Yes, I like to, it was not always the case, of course, right? Like I started out just, one video at a time. I wasn't even posting consistently at the beginning, right? Like for most people, YouTube is something they discover that they love, and it becomes it's like a hobby that grows into, a job if they're resourceful and figure out, kind of what their overarching vision is, because YouTube's really just the beginning, right? But I'd say I'm 3 to 6 months ahead on content. And that's, everyone's different, like Sarah Beth is kind of like me. She's like 3 to 6 months ahead. Sometimes she's a year ahead because she wants to have a lot of kids. So she's like planning out all her pregnancies and all her content. Someone like Leslie Fightmaster, who you guys will meet if you study with me in person, who's awesome. Like she's not ahead at all. Like they do everything almost like in the moment, week to week, which is really cool. Kind of like a live production studio schedule. So Cassandra does it right away. I think, she bulk films. I think most people who have big channels, you start to, have an inventory because you really want that consistency. So you never want to miss an upload. So you're constantly planning ahead. Pros to that, I think mainly it's pros to that. Cons to that is, a lot of times I film something and I'm so excited to share it and, I can't share it right away because it's not supposed to come out till later. So that's kind of a bummer. So that's the part of it I don't like. But yeah, so there's different approaches to that. Yeah, I know. And some of the new videos, I'm magically pregnant. Yeah, are probably trying to disguise I'm pregnant. Okay. other questions, and sorry, to wrap up the discussion about the algorithms always changing and how, you can go crazy about that. That's the other reason why I really am a fan of collecting the emails, like I talked about in all these videos, right? Because if you just have people's email, it doesn't matter when YouTube changes their algorithm and demotes all your videos, or Facebook does, whatever, right? Because you own the communication stream with your audience, right? So you could have, bajillion Instagram followers, but if Instagram changes the algorithm or something happens and you all of a sudden, literally it's happened to people overnight, things just happen, or your account could get hacked. That happened to a big mentor of mine. All her social media accounts got hacked. And then they were like all down to zero, or something terrible happened. But if you have someone's email address, you're good, right? Because you can just contact your people directly. Doesn't matter if they stop following you on Facebook. Doesn't matter if Facebook shuts down. Doesn't matter, right? So that's the other reason why I really am a fan of that strategy, because it just sort of allows you to relax about all the other stuff. Because you can drive yourself crazy with the amount of changes that are happening on social media on a daily basis. And then again, we have limited energy and life force. Like, where do you want to put that, right? For me, that's not where I want to put it. I want to put it towards my spiritual practice and my teaching and things I'm passionate about, not freaking out about, all these things I can't control.
So that's a wrap for our little live lesson about YouTube. I hope you've been taking notes on this video and all the other videos in this section of the training. Everything about Instagram, Facebook, and business and spirituality. Write down all your questions so I can make sure to answer them in our live call. Again, taking this training, I really consider you part of my family. Your success is my success. So I want to help you in any way that I can. I want to empower you with the knowledge you need to go out there and make whatever your big dreams around yoga are come true. And just know that anything is possible. I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to connect with you on our live call. Namaste.